Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Split Labs channel. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026, and can we get a quick round of applause? Because if you're here, it's the big day. It is MLB opening night. What an exciting time to be an MLB fan, especially when you're getting exhausted from NBA sports betting. Fantastic day for us. We've got the Yankees versus the Giants coming in at one matchup for tonight. So I wanted to get this video out early for you guys. Also wanted to kind of walk you through some of the new features that we have over here at Split Labs when it comes to MLB and the playbook. So before we get started, as always, I have to let you guys know, completely powered by Split Labs, because we built the exact tool that we wanted to use as sports bettors, and we truly do mean that. Split Labs shows you public betting splits, line movement, and market signals across all major sports, and a lot of fantastic prop tools in one place if you want to see where the crowd is going, what the line is doing, and what the market is hinting at. Literally what we do every single day here at Split Labs. I know the teams put a lot of effort into building for the MLB season, so I'm really excited to kind of showcase some of these things for you guys. And if you want access to everything that you're going to see in this video as I break down my best bets, we're going to cover player props, we're going to cover game totals, things like that, head over to the link in the description, splitlabs.net. Use promo code YouTube for 50% off your first month. And let's get into today's slate. I'm really excited for this one, extremely excited. Let's move us into a closer view here as we dive into Yankees and the Giants and get up the line movement here. All right, so starting off with the line reads, what do we have? To surprise of nobody, the Yankees are the favorite. How else are we going to kick off the MLB season? I mean, come on. The Yankees are a public darling. Any New York team is a public darling, right? They're the equivalent of the New York Knicks when it comes to sports betting, just in general, right? The Mecca. We've got 68% of bets, 60% of money coming in on Yankees minus 1.5. There has been no change so far for the spread. However, as you always know, when it comes to MLB, and this is where it completely differs from NBA, you have to look at the odds here, right? So it's opened at a plus 135. It's now sitting, it got better, right? It's now a plus 146. So that's definitely something worth noting there, right? Moving into the money line, we've got a 62% of bets, 61% of money coming on Yankees money line straight up. This is such a fantastic number for the Yankees, right? Like, it's a pick'em. You're saying it's a pick'em, and the public is clearly leaning Yankees here. It did move a little bit towards the Yankees, so that is trending in the favor. No hard red flag, except for this is an extremely short line, and I think it's priced that way for a reason. The total opened at 8.5. It moved to 7 right now, so currently on FanDuel it's a 7. With 59% of bets, 51% of money on the over. Something to note there, right, is that we're seeing the public is on the over. It opened at an 8.5 and it significantly moved down. So we're going to take a beat right there. Let's dive into kind of what my reads are for this game here. And again, this is probably going to be a longer video just because I've got so many different areas of things that I want to show you guys when it comes to, Split Labs and the new features that we have for MLB, but also just to kind of like bring you guys into my mindset when it comes to MLB sports betting, right? The Yankees are the public darling, and I do think that they should win this game. Obviously, they're better. I think on paper. You got Aaron Judge. You got the best guy in the league, right? You can argue that with anybody. The money here, it's a little concerning that this is going up, right? I'm not going to lean for a run line here. It's truly at a pick'em right now, and like I'm gonna have to just go Yankees here straight up. There's no reason for me to even like get greedy and start looking at a run line just because the money line's at a pick'em, like I said. The thing that's scratching my head here is this total, right? And that's kind of why I'm leaning more comfortably towards a Yankees straight up win, because this total is completely not lopsided, but it's off, right? There's a red flag there. The total opened at an 8.5. It's now sitting at a 7. So we're already losing points here. I would honestly move this up to an under 8 runs. Let's get some buyback there, and play me down for the under as well. So give me the Yankees in the under when it comes to just straight bets on this game. Something finicky might happen where like the Giants cover, or like this is one of those 2-0, 1-0 games, whatever the case may be, really low. And one of the reasons that I feel comfortable about the under here is I'm going to move down to one of our brand new features at Split Labs. It's called Weather Impact, and I want to just make sure that you guys can actually see this. What I'll do is I'll bring this out to a little bit of a further view for you guys, so you guys can actually see what this map is doing for us. This weather impact tells us what the weather is going to be at the time of first pitch, right? So this game starts at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're seeing that the environment here in general is suppressed when it comes to home runs, strikeouts, extra base hits, currently sitting at a neutral, and the projected total is 7.2. So we're edging on the side of caution here, with the line being at a 7, right? We're saying, yeah, it could reach 7 runs. We don't love it, but we don't hate it. That's why I feel comfortable moving that line back up to an 8. As we know, Oracle Park is a pretty friendly, right? Notably, pitcher park. When it comes to the environment though, like the actual temperature is expected to be 63 degrees, so it's a pretty nice day, especially if you're over here in the East Coast here. 63 degrees is basically summertime, and then you've got 38% humidity. The wind is blowing out at 6.8 miles per hour, and then no chance of rain. Looking at how this maps out on, the field actually, and this is a fantastic feature that we introduced at Split Labs. We're showing you the exact dimensions of Oracle Park here. So this is actually Oracle Park, looking at it, right? So we've got the wind blowing out, and this is kind of what it looks like here. And then we're seeing on this field visually, I can't get over this feature. It's so fantastic. I think it's like one of my favorite implementations here, is that the left side has some types of disadvantage, where we're seeing at this moment, we're projected to have like a minus 4.6% decrease when it comes to just a hitting advantage there. Same thing with left center field's also getting kind of a decrease there. And then the right center, or the right center and the right field, increased boost. It's very minor, so like it's nothing to take it and run with it. I'm not saying, hey, anybody hitting over here, you're getting a home run. The advantage here is that you're seeing it's a short porch here, right? You're getting a slight of a boost. Fantastic if you're hitting in this way. So another thing that I wanted to show you guys really quickly is also this hit profile. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enable it for you guys so you guys can actually see what this is going to do for us. What this does is it will actually show me exactly how hitters are hitting since 2023 in what zones, and then we can map that to the weather that is happening today. It's such a fantastic and cool new feature, and I promise you guys I will probably be spending a lot of my time here when it comes to like analyzing just honestly totals and like all of it, strikeouts, things like that. Obviously, if you're a player prop bettor, this is such a fantastic tool to use over here at Split Labs. Just really proud of the team here at Split Labs on like what they were able to accomplish in this off season. But going back to the data here, right now we're loaded at all loaded hitters, right? But I can actually see, let's say just the Yankees in general. The Yankees in general, most of their contact is in this positive view of right field. As you can see, like the larger circles mean that's where they're hitting predominantly. Second, we'd say this is kind of probably a tie, but more so over here as well. So they're a little bit, I can't say even, because clearly there's an advantage here for them. But this is definitely something that I'm putting into the bet here when it comes to the Yankees, right? And then I can do the same exact thing for the Giants. Same thing, they hit over here pretty frequently, but they also hit over here. Let me bring it back to you guys so you guys can kind of see. They're hitting to left field a bit more than the Yankees, right? Like the Yankees, it was apparent, it was extremely visual that they're hitting more towards right field, whereas the Giants, they're a little bit evened out, right? So like if we're hitting over here, you're also hitting over here, you're also hitting over here. About what, 65% of this field, you're hitting at a disadvantage. Whereas the Yankees, they're leaning towards this right side. So I'm gonna put that into it as well. Give me the Yankees because they have this advantage when it comes to like the hitting environment, right? And then I'm just going to take a look at a few players here just so you guys can kind of see what we've built over here at Split Labs, right? Looking at Aaron Judge, if I'm looking at player props and things like that, Aaron Judge is predominant. I mean, we know, right? He can hit anywhere. He's Aaron Judge. He's predominantly hitting in the center, which is taking a little bit of a knock at minus 1%. But secondly, he's hitting 25% in left field, right? So not fantastic. We know if any balls are going to left field, not only is it a larger, it's the second shortest piece of the park, yes, but we do know that this area is getting a really big disadvantage, the most disadvantage within this whole ballpark scheduled for tonight. Right side, he does have contact over here, but it's his third best hitting zone. So like not fantastic, right? His primary hitting zones are a little bit obsolete here. If you're looking at player props, I'm not saying avoid Judge entirely, but I'm not looking at Judge's props as hard for sure, just given the data that I see here on the Split Labs graph. And, that's kind of how I'm reading the board today when it comes to like player props, Aaron Judge, and things like that. And then moving over, let's look at somebody like, let's look at Chaz. Let's see how Chaz is doing. This is definitely a player prop that I would look into. And this is kind of the things that we wanted you guys to like be able to see and visualize cleanly and clearly when you were like analyzing what's going on. Look at this advantage that Chaz has. He's got 33% contact since 2023 in this right field. He's getting the boost. Not only that, it's the short porch. I'm all over Chaz. I'm all over Chaz when it comes to player props. To be honest, I should probably be writing this down before I hop into the playbook, just so I can. Who doesn't love a good like pen and pencil? Pen and pencil, right? Let me write this down really quickly. We're going to look at Chaz when I open the playbook, but I do just want to write this down. He's a guy that has a really good advantage here when it comes to like right field. His secondary contact place is center field, which I'd say it's a neutral environment. It's getting, downgraded a little bit by 1%, but that's not something that I'm going to read too much into. We can clearly see that he is more center/right sided here when it comes to contact. And then of course we've got that worst impacted zone here where he's hitting 16%, but 16%, not bad. This is definitely a guy that I'm eyeing at like being somebody that's going to jumpstart the offense a little bit. And definitely something that, I think we should take home and, definitely notate and looking at it. Let's take a look at some of the Giants players here when it comes to, I know the starting lineup isn't out right now. All right, so really quickly, guys, I want to take a beat. Starting lineups, of course, aren't finalized yet, especially because I'm recording this pretty early into the day, so I don't have that information yet, but we're going to just kind of poke around here on some of the Giants players and kind of see who I know will definitely be in the lineups here, like Rafi, right? Rafael Devers, his contact, a little like Judge, except more leaning towards the right. His primary is in center field, which isn't too far off. Small, this is very minor. We're not going to read into this whatsoever. Right side, again, he's having a boost. So this is honestly another guy that I would take into account when it comes to player props, things like that. And then his third zone is, within that area that we're saying will probably, impact balls the most. Just going to look really quickly at another guy that we know for sure will be in the starting lineup. We can talk about like Willy Adames, right? Props we're avoiding. This is definitely I think a prop that I would avoid. If you're looking at player props in this game, I mean, look at these zones, guys. 2 of his zones are being impacted the most. One of them, the primary, is in the worst zone there is, right? 29% contact over there, minus this 4.6 percentage. Second, like, largest dimension in this, smallest dimension in the park, yes, but being severely impacted over here. Same thing with center field, not fantastic, expected to perform as usual there. This is somebody that I would avoid when it comes to maybe looking at any props that you guys might see listed, things like that. just to be on the safe side, given that we know what his contact is looking like over there. Let's look at one more player here and kind of see maybe who else we can spot out when it comes to player props and what we can be looking at here. Maybe let's look at Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader is another one that looks like on the Giants is being impacted severely. Does he have like a really similar contact rate between, what is that? 31, 29, 16 was Willie. 29, 29, 18. All right, really close. So again, Harrison Bader, if I can find it again. Sorry guys, so many players. All right, is another player that's being impacted by these field conditions here. And we can clearly see that kind of with this map view. So 2 players on the Giants, again, that I would avoid when it comes to player props, just because the conditions are not working in their favor. So looking at that, again, the projection here is a 7.2, so it's really close to that number that the books have already adjusted for. And we're gonna take that seriously. That's why we're going to bump this up to the 8, play along with the books there, and play nice. All right, so opening up the playbook here, we've got some fantastic people, right? Like, this is such a beautiful visualization of just player props and things that we can see when it comes to like last season all the way back to 2023. Again, the matchup edge is all from 2023, and then this is a complete career at bat since 2023 against Logan Webb, things like that. So we have some props that we said we were going to look at here when it comes to the players, just based on the weather, edges, and impacts. I'm going to start off with our avoids, right? We said we're going to avoid Willy Adames and Harrison Bader, and it looks like we've got prop lines for both of them. So let's go over and kind of see how they've been handling it. When it comes to the matchup, the Yankees are starting a left-handed pitcher. They're ranking not fantastic. Split Labs is clearly ranking this as a difficult matchup in general. And since 2023, we're not seeing any data on Split Labs so far for Max Fried. So that's definitely something to note. I'm just going to look at versus the opponent right now. We've got a 33% hit rate, kind of leaning in, 33% on top of not the best field conditions. I mean, what's our read here? Not great. I mean, he's currently at an under or a 0.5 hits, and you're getting the under for a plus 136. I'm just gonna see, do we have any data for when he's at home? No. So this is these are all while he was away, when it comes to the Yankees and things like that. Obviously looking at kind of his last 5-10 games, whatever, at the first game of the season doesn't really play too much of a factor here. But as we can see, we are seeing a plus money on this under here. That is definitely something I would lean into, because we know that the field conditions are not in their favor, in his favor. So that's a plus 136. And I'm going to write this down because I haven't done player props on this channel in a really long time. But I always do for MLB for whatever reason. It's just kind of my bread and butter and where I lean. But we're going to do Willy Adames under 0.5 hits here, at plus money at plus 136. Another player that we were going to avoid on the Giants was Harrison Bader. Let's kind of take a look at his matchup again. He does have history against Max Fried, and we can clearly see that on his profile at Split Labs as well, right? We're seeing he's had 5 plate appearances, so it's a small historical sample size, yes. However, in those 5 plate appearances, we've got an out, a strikeout. He did get a single, another out, things like that. But like, it's not looking good for him even against Max Fried. So we're already looking at a disadvantage against the pitcher just based on batter profile since 2023, right? So lock that into our mental Rolodex. The weather is not in his favor as well. One thing that's concerning me is that both of these are plus money. So clearly the books are pricing them as if they're going to get this hit. But again, this is one where I would lean under on the 0.5 hits at a plus 115, because we know these are 2 people that are being severely impacted by the field conditions. And I'm just going to look really quickly at versus the opponent. Since 2023, we don't have anything for him. But again, definitely something worth noting when it comes to that. Now let's go over to some people that we were going to root for, like Rafael Devers. Look at this beauty. He's got a strong performance in his last 6 plate appearances against Max Fried. We've got a strikeout, another out. He has a home run against him, and then a single. Fantastic. He's averaging a .333. Fantastic. And again, as we can see, kind of just that quick summary of the 1 home run and 1 strikeout within 6 plate appearances. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And that leans in favor of everything that we're seeing. As we know, the matchup edge is listed as difficult because of a whole like team view, right? The Giants in general were not hitting well last season against this stuff. But Rafael Devers, solid. I mean, look at these lines. Look at these lines here against the Yankees. Count me in. Count me in for an over on this over 0.5 hits here. On Rafi, we're getting a -188. That's in an area where like you lean on the area of caution. But tell me why I don't play this. Tell me why I don't play that. This is just last season alone. Let's go, but let's do all. 80% hit rate since 2023. Tell me why not. Tell me why it's not him. And the game is leaning in his favor when it comes to the weather. I love it. This might be my favorite player on the board, to be honest. So count me in for Rafi. We're going to check that box there. And then the last one that we wanted to look at was Chaz Chisholm. All right, similar experience here. He's had consistent contact against Logan Webb. Again, we're listing this actually as a favorable matchup for the Yankees against right-handed pitchers. He has, let's see, he's got 2 first base singles in this plate appearances. Again, he's averaging a .333. He does have some outs here, so definitely something to note. But against the opponent, I mean, a 66, almost 67% win rate since 2023. When's the last time he played them? April 13th, 2025. I like it. He only hit it once last season, but again, as we know, the weather is playing in his favor, especially with this contact field. I know it's a 33% hit rate, so like not ideal when you see those numbers, but having all of this contact here, or this context here, I'm looking at the word contact as I'm talking to you guys, I do think it works in our favor, so I'm going to go the over 0.5 hits on Chaz at on an over 149. Okay, so those are the 2 props that we wanted to look at here when it comes to hitters. I'm going to move over to pitchers really quickly just to kind of see what we have here when it comes to Logan Webb, things like that, kind of see what the dynamic is here. In our other view, we saw that the Ks were going to be suppressed. Logan Webb is sitting at a 6.5 K right now. And it looks like we're listing him as neutral when it comes to this lineup, or just the Yankees in general. 2.40 against the lineup. Not terrible. He's faced about 8 batters since, with 55 plate appearances. The worst matchups for him look to be Aaron Judge, Ryan McMahon. He's faced the most, so definitely something to note. And then best matchups when it comes to like his strikeouts, we've got Cody Bellinger, Austin Wells, and things like that. So we've got 4 people that he could potentially strike out. He's been striking out pretty consistently, or at least getting them out. So definitely something to note there. So that's 4, right? Worst case scenario, you've got 4 strikeouts through the line, through the batting order, your first time up. This one, right, he's not really striking out. He's just outing. Not terrible, but again, this is a neutral look. I'm just going to look really quickly and see what we have. Kind of what we have when it comes to what he's done against the opponent. April 13th last year, he got 5 Ks. Although we are listing him for favorable just because, as you guys know, the Yankees were striking out a bunch last season. I mean, I feel like in general, they're honestly, they're a swing and miss team, but they also have a lot of power. So I can't say that I'm too surprised by that. There's nothing here that's really leaning me one way or another. I'd say the data's a little conflicting, right? I can see clearly like this seems like a little bit of a matchup edge when it comes to, for the batters. It seems like a little bit of a matchup edge when it comes to maybe he can get the 6, right? There's 4 batters that are, I'd say, a risk to us, right? 4, you're already, let's say perfect world, you're already over half if you strike out all 4 of them. Or you get Aaron, you know, unfortunately, whatever the case may be, right? Aaron does swing and miss a little more than I like every time I take his props. So things like that. I'm going to avoid this one. I'm going to take a quick look at Max Fried really quickly, just to kind of see what we've got here. We're listing him as a favorable matchup. And why is that? He's faced 7 batters on this lineup. It's a lineup average of 2.14. So good thing to note here. And I'm just going to do really quickly. Looks like we're getting an over plus money on his over as well. So what has he done historically? 66% hit rate. I mean, I like that. This is from 2023, so they haven't seen him in a while. I feel like that does lean in our favor. And then also just looking at this lineup, you know, he's striking him out. I'm not upset at these numbers. We've got, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 people that could potentially be, you know, the people that he strikes out. And that he has the best matchup with, right? They're not familiar with his game. Even the people that are, they haven't seen him in a while. So like, I'm actually really liking Max Fried's over 5.5 Ks. Right, as we know, the contact is not going to be that great anyway. So give me the over Max Fried. And sorry guys, I'm writing this down just because I have so many bets. We're firing them all off. I love a good player prop when it comes to the MLB season on that one. And let's do one more just because we know the Giants should be at a disadvantage. When it comes to the opponent, he's at, again, a 66% hit rate. Not hit rate, well, yeah, technically a hit rate when it comes to getting them out for a 16.5. I do like this over here just because, I mean, 66% win rate. Yes, again, it's a favorable matchup. They're not making too much contact against him, and they also have not seen him in a while. So I really do like that. Again, also just overall, last 10, 70% hit rate, last 20, 60, let's just say all, just in general, since 2023 is 64%. So like, killing it. I have no reason not to. Just last season, 67%. Like, I'm liking all of those numbers there. So give me Max Fried over 16.5. When it comes to outs recorded as well, definitely something that I want to look at, and that is an over -105 there. All right, guys, I have been talking at you guys for a while. This is probably the longest video that I've had at this channel, but I mean, it's a really exciting day. I've got to say, you guys might have to get used to these really long videos when it comes to MLB because they're so exciting and there's so much information to like just look into and dive into the data all together with. Way more fun than NBA. So I'm so excited that it's opening night, so excited that it's back. Happy MLB opening day, or opening night, as we always say at Split Labs. Looking forward to a fantastic season with you guys. And as always, if this video helped you out at all, head over to splitlabs.net. The link is in the description. Use promo code YouTube for 50% off your first month and get access to everything that you saw here today. And I showed you guys a lot, so you guys should be sprinting over there. We'd love to have you. 50% off your first month with Split Labs. Get access to the full board and everything that I used today to make my best bets. I landed on a lot of things here, so that recap should be ridiculous. But again, if this video helped you at all, please feel free to like this video, subscribe, head over to the site, and again, promo code YouTube for 50% off your first month. If there's anything that I landed on that you like, put it in the comments. Let me know if you're tailing it or you're fading it, whatever the case may be. I just love engaging with you guys. And if there's anything that maybe I missed that you saw in the data, drop it in the comments as well. Happy to kind of like look over the bets, maybe tail some of you guys as well, and let's just have a winning season together.